Hello everyone, my name is Ben Reeds, and today's video is going to be, this is me recording after this happened, but, so this weekend I had a sleepover with a friend, and we basically stayed out in a tent all night and read, and it was a really good time, and I recorded some of it, so I just wanted to do, a play-by-play, because I only really, recorded aesthetic shots. I didn't really talk much in them, so there's gonna be, a bit of voiceover and a bit of, me talking about, what was going on. And a bit of me interrupting as my editing self and being like, hey, this is a play-by-play of what happened because I didn't actually record while I was there because I was like, I kind of just want to enjoy this. But it was a really fun time. I recorded some moments, and so I just want to share them with you. So basically, to start off, the books I read while I was there were If It Bleeds by Stephen King, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and the Saga comic series, and I'm not entirely sure who that's by, but I finished the first book of the Saga series while I was there. I read 2 of the Stephen King short stories, and I read a couple chapters of Vicious, which is the book that I'm currently reading the most right now. And it's my main book that I'm reading, and I'm reading the comic series and the short stories sort of on the side, just as if I don't feel like reading this at the moment, then I can have 2 other things in the background that I can read. And I really enjoyed them, and there's quite a few moments of me reading in the video, so let's get to those. So it's 2 a.m. and I've read a bit of Saga, a bit of Vicious, and I finished a couple short stories in the Stephen King book I'm reading. So that's interesting. I'm getting a bit tired and I'm trying to stay as alert as possible. I think James is reading Fruits Basket now. I know he was reading Throne of Glass earlier. So we're just eating some popcorn and gummy worms and Pringles and chillin'. And yeah, it's a good time. So basically at this point in the night, my friend James had drank a Monster Energy, and I had some coffee because I can't drink Monster Energy as far as I know. It'll give me very bad anxiety and stomach pains because my body hates me. But so we had quite a bit of caffeine, and we were just coasting on this caffeine to stay alive for the rest of the night because I was already tired by the time I got there because I had a panic attack earlier in the day, and I was like, oh god, I'm gonna be so tired tonight, how am I gonna do this? But I ended up being fine. So this was about at 3 a.m. in the morning when I record the next clip. So I was doing well. I think at this point I had read the entirety of the first book of Saga, or I was switching between Saga and If It Bleeds, because I had read a little bit of Vicious, but I just wasn't in the mood for it, and I'm still not in the mood for it for some reason. I think it's because I know that the 3rd book might not be coming out at all, and that really disappoints me because I really like it so far. So I was reading quite a bit of If It Bleeds and quite a bit of Saga, and I really enjoyed them, and I was having a good time. James and I started hanging out at 7 o'clock that night, and I'm pretty sure we talked for 2 hours before we actually started reading. We just kind of sat there and talked, and it was a good time. I really, really enjoyed it. So, but when we both got into reading, it was awesome because we were both just reading books, and that's a good time. And I love reading, and I'm so glad that I got to read with someone who also likes reading, because I have friends who like reading, but they don't want to read for longer than 10 minutes, and then they're like, okay, I'm bored. But reading for 5 hours and then dying and going to sleep was a great time, so thank you for that. So that's our little light invention. We took a flashlight and attached it to the top of the tent, and now it shines on where both of us have been reading mostly, and we still have this nice little light. And we got some popcorn, some gummy worms, which we've been feasting on. We have a heater, but it's really powerful, so we have to keep turning it off. And yeah, so I've just been reading some Stephen King stuff and chilling out. So at around 3:30 a.m. I had finished reading the short story by Stephen King, Rat, and I really enjoyed it, and I was moving on to the next one, which is If It Bleeds, the title story of the entire thing. I have been eating a ton of Pringles at this point and just enjoying myself and trying not to fall asleep. Yeah, I heard about that. So at this point in the night, my phone was dying hard, and I couldn't really do anything about that because we needed the heater to be plugged in to stop ourselves from freezing outside in the night in a tent. So there aren't many clips from me because I was like, oh shit, my phone's gonna die and I can't update Goodreads or talk to my fiance or my family because tomorrow I'm going hiking, so I need to like have the details for those things. So there weren't many clips from me, which really sucks, but it was a really good night. Like, I had a really, really good time. We hung out for like the whole night and it was really fun. We talked quite a bit, like, we read quite a bit, obviously, because it was a reading tent vlog thing. And I think there will be a video from James's side as well on their channel, which is really cool. So I will link their channel in the description. And it was really cool to have them in a video with me, so I'm excited about it. So by 5 a.m., both of us were pretty brain dead. Like, we couldn't read anymore. We kept talking about how, like, we would try and read and then the words would just, like, blur and, like, we just couldn't physically read anymore. The caffeine was gone. My Ritalin was completely worn off. Like, it was the end for us. So we both eventually just, like, flopped back in our sleeping bags and we were just like, let's just go on our phones for a bit because, like, we cannot read right now. But around, I think it was like around 5:30, we were just kind of like, all right, let's just go to sleep because obviously we're not going to be able to read. So there's no point staying up the rest of the night for a reading sleepover when we can't read. So we ended up going to sleep and I got up around 9 the next day because I had to get ready for a hike at 12, which I will add like a little clip in at the end of me and my sisters hiking with my dog. And it was a really, really good time and I'm really glad we got to do it.